Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Luke Stevens. You probably know that if you're watching this. This isn't the kind of video where like you casually click on it, having never seen another video before. Honestly, if you're watching this and you've never seen my face before, you've never seen any one of my videos before, hi, welcome. Glad to have you. Comment so I know if that actually happens. I'd be shocked, but that's awesome. Thank you. Welcome. Sit down. Grab a seat. I wanted to sort of do an update and just talk unedited, off the cuff, straight to you guys, and get everything out on the table for what happened this year in 2021 when I'm recording, what is going to happen in 2022, what my broader goals are for this coming year, and I want to give you a sneak peek to a few of the things that we have in the works behind the scenes, because there's a lot, and I'm actually like low-key really excited for all of it. So I'm going to run through all of that. To start, at the start of 2021, I was working full-time as a commercial real estate broker, selling apartment buildings in Denver, Colorado, where I'm domiciled in Colorado. And I was driving an hour to work. I would wake up at 6. I would drive an hour from 7 to 8 a.m., get to the office by 8, start working by 8:30, and I wouldn't get off work until about 6:30 to 7:30, depending on the night. And then I would drive an hour to an hour and a half home. So most cases, I didn't get back till 8 p.m., sometimes as late as 9 p.m., depending on traffic. And then I would get home, I'd hang out with Nikki and the cats for a little bit, and then I would try to work on YouTube stuff as much as I could before I had to go to sleep, usually around midnight or 1 a.m. And then I would do it again the next day. So usually getting about 5 hours of sleep and working from, dusk till dawn, basically. And I learned a lot doing commercial real estate. I'm very thankful for the time I spent doing it. How often do you get in your life the chance to like work face-to-face, one-on-one with some extremely intelligent people who understand real estate and investment better than you could possibly imagine? These guys are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and they want to help you get what they have. Like, that never happens in life, so I really appreciate the time I got to spend doing it. But it was killing me. It was sucking my soul out slowly. I think if I lived closer to Denver, it would have been more bearable. Like if it was 5 minutes to get to the office, I think that would have been very doable. That commute just will suck your soul right out. But even so, like the work itself, I just hated it. I hated it. If you've ever worked a sales job where you had to cold call people, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like there is a thin sliver of the population that has to cold call, period, in their life. And of that sliver, it's like 6 people that actually truly don't mind it. I don't think anybody enjoys there's one exception. One of my bosses at Unique Properties in Denver, where I worked, Phil, hi Phil, if you ever see this. He's a fantastic, phenomenal broker. If you're ever looking for investments in Denver, go to him. He's great. I think he's the one person I've ever met in my life who genuinely enjoys cold calling. Like he loves meeting new people, even through the phone, as awkward as it may be. Like it just clicks with him. He genuinely enjoys it. But that is so rare. You have no idea. Most people loathe cold calling. They hate receiving cold calls from random salespeople on their cell phones, and they hate giving them. It's just awkward and terrible. But that was like 90% of our job. If we could get somebody on the phone, cold calling them, and get them to agree to meet with us, that was most of the work done. If they meet us, they come into our fancy office with all this marble and glass everywhere, they're going to do a deal with us. They'll sell their building through us or buy something through us. We're good to go. But getting to that point is extremely difficult. And I just couldn't stand it. After that terrible commute and being exhausted perpetually, getting to the office and then having to like put on your best sort of what's the damn movie? Your best Wolf of Wall Street impression to go and get the sale and close it. It was very difficult, and it was just exhausting and sort of miserable. And you're calling very rich people who don't like you, even though they've never met you. They just hate what you do and who you are because you're a broker. So they treat you terribly, but you have to act like they're the smartest people ever, because you're a broker and you need their business. It was really tough for me. And when we found out that my wife Nikki was pregnant with our first child on New Year's Eve in 2020, it kind of caused a pause. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, here we are. A baby's coming around September, early September. What are we doing? Like, where are we at? I graduated college. I got my bachelor's in corporate finance, so I'm good there. I don't have to go to school anymore. But I'm doing this YouTube stuff on the side that I really enjoy and I'm passionate about. It's not making a lot of money. I couldn't survive by myself on that. Maybe with Nikki working full time, we'd be able to manage it in a small apartment, but it'd be tough. And then I'm also doing this corporate finance thing, which makes good money, but I absolutely hate it. And it's sucking my soul out slowly through my nostrils. What do I do? And you stack on top of that in September, we're going to have a baby here. So I probably am not going to do any work for a month or two after that, while we get used to having a baby. And so there will be no money coming in then. And it'll be very difficult, right? It caused a lot of reflection, and I kind of had to reevaluate everything. And I eventually decided that while I'd be giving up a potential career in corporate finance if I left, I would be trading it for a healthier life, period. It would just be better for me. I could chase down my dream of trying to make it in the gaming industry in some way, shape, or form, working from home, being my own boss. And I would be able to be present for the childhood of my son, which is something I can't get anywhere else. Like, yeah, you could push off trying to make it as a gaming YouTuber. I'll just keep pumping out like little videos, and then in 2 years, I'll try it again. I'll give it the push. You could do that. Or like my corporate finance degree, or not corporate finance, my commercial real estate career. I'll push that off. I'll take a hiatus and I'll come back. You can't do that with your kids. I mean, either you're there for their childhood or you're not. Either you have those memories or you don't, right? And that's what I couldn't see myself giving up. And it was one of those things, like once you think of that and you can't unthink of it. Like it's constantly just like a steady in your mind. You can't unthink it. So in June, I did my last deal in commercial real estate. We closed it, and then I stopped working there. I had a few more calls come in, and so I didn't technically fully leave until probably late July, early August, sometime in there. But I was done with commercial real estate. And when I got back home after that deal closed in June, I remember sitting in my chair. We were still in our old apartment, and I remember sitting and just like staring at my computer screen, turned off, all the lights were off. It was like really kind of haunting. I was just like sitting there thinking, pondering, and really just going like, okay, what's next? Like what now? We made it this far. What now? And it's a little intimidating because at the time, YouTube was not paying the bills fully. It was sort of financially a very stupid move to leave that job. But I said, okay, it's time to work. We're going to get this. We're going to set it up. We're going to make this business profitable. And no more excuses. Like, this is it. This is your life raft. Figure it out. So we started streaming. We started making videos. And I started contacting all sorts of sponsors and brands to work with to try and grease the wheels. Because, like, I know everybody's like, oh, a YouTuber doing like another Like what is the game? There's what is the damn game? The game that everybody always is pushing in all of their Raid Shadow Legends. That's it. Raid Shadow Legends. Like Raid Shadow Legends, everybody sees that and they're like, oh God, another Raid Shadow Legends ad. Or like, oh, another VPN ad or another this or that. And you kind of dismiss it and you skip through it, whatever. But just to be honest with you guys, like one video I do that performs pretty well over the course of like a month, so 4 weeks, I can expect to make maybe $100 to $200 off that video. For my videos, we're talking like a dozen to 2 dozen to 3 dozen hours of work goes into it. So I'm getting out one of those a week, maybe 2 in a week, if I'm really pumping through them, which I have been, as you've probably noticed. And that video making $100 in a week or in a month sounds pretty good. Like, wow, for just a video, that's pretty good. But when you think like, well, it's your full-time job and you're putting out 5 to 6 videos in a month, how does that work? Like, how do you make $500-$600 pay your bills? Like, my car payment would just barely be covered by that. Granted, it's because I got a nice car while I was driving to Denver every single morning and night, but that's kind of beside the point. I'm actually looking at selling it because like I hate having a $500+ car payment that I barely drive. It's a whole other story. But sponsorships allow that to kind of subside. Like the video can do $100 in revenue, but the brand benefits from that exposure regardless. So they're willing to pay like $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 for a big video or $10,000 for a huge video. They're willing to pay a lot for that exposure to see, or for you guys to see their stuff. And as long as you can offer reliable services, make the video on time, get it put together according to their guidelines, they're happy to work with you. And for them, it's way more effective than TV or random YouTube ads that you can just skip over or block with, you know, whatever ad blocker you have. It's way more valuable for them to work with directly with the YouTuber. So in the span of the last like 2 months, and I'm not making this up, in the span of the last 2 months, I've taken in more revenue on this YouTube channel than I did in the entire channel's history before. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's what happens when you learn to, like, for one, understand how to pitch to sponsors, when you make the right connections and you understand what you're worth. Because for a long time, when a sponsor would approach me, I'd be like, I don't know, $200. And they're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And they would do it. Or they'd say like, hey, we'll send you a free wallet if you do this ad integration. And like, you'll get the wallet, you make the video. It's like a straight trade. And now I can understand that it was absolutely ridiculous of me to do that. Because sponsors are willing to spend a lot more than you would think. A lot more. Like I can only, based on what they are willing to pay, like, for one of my big videos, like the big, huge critiques, I can only imagine what they'd be willing to pay like a Mr. Beast for some of their content, like the big videos where they do 50 million views in a day and or 2 days or whatever it was for the Squid Game video, and they're sponsored by like some credit card company or something or other. I can only imagine the check they get for that. I just can't even imagine. But setting that aside, the point is, sponsorships, I understand they're kind of like, oh, it's a little cringe because every YouTuber seems to be doing them. But the reason most YouTubers are doing sponsorships is because a lot of us have realized we need to put up or shut up. Like, either this is a job and this is a business, or it's not. Either we make this work or we don't. And that's kind of where I'm at. I had to put up or shut up. And thankfully, you guys are fantastic and are willing to work with me on that and understand that, like, when I first did a couple sponsored segments in some videos, people pushed back and were like, oh, that's so cringe. Don't work with these guys. Don't do ad reads. It breaks up the flow. It does this or that. Initially, there was a little resistance, but I mean, now almost every video I put out, we have a partner for that video, and it's allowed me to be financially stable. Nikki is looking at potentially dropping down to part-time at her job or taking a break and spending more time with Lachlan. And we can do that and be financially stable because of you guys watching and because of these brands that are willing to work with us. And I'm very, very thankful for that, because just 6 months ago when I left that I keep saying that, commercial real estate job, I was really unsure of where this would go. And I was kind of bracing for the sort of tuck the tail between your legs and go and ask for a job at a bank or something again and try to do that. Working part-time to just cover the rest of the bills, go get a real job, quote unquote, while I try to continue getting this built up. But we've actually managed it. And as of right now, I mean, the channel's looking really good. It's bringing in good money, and we're not rich, but we're financially secure. And it's a weird feeling to have, to be doing this full time and be financially secure, but that's where we are. And I have you guys to thank for it at the end of the day. So truly, thank you. But all of that kind of brings me to the, I suppose, core of this video, which is what's coming down the pike. What's sort of the overarching goal for the channel as we move forward. And as I did sort of an retrospective on the channel and an introspection into myself and how we've kind of built this channel up, one thing seems very clear to me. It's that we have fans like you guys that are watching this video while I ramble about my life and the channel and what we're doing. If you're watching this, like, you're a fan, you're committed, you are supportive, you are amazing, and I value you more than you could possibly imagine. So we have fans, but when we look at like the stats on YouTube or on Twitter or Instagram or this or that, the stats don't reflect that as well. And I spent a lot of time thinking about why that might be, why it doesn't seem like we have as like captured a community or enraptured, maybe is the right word, but we don't have as captive a community as we would hope to see, where we have a lot of people that come out to the Discord and chat about games, where we have super engaged conversations on Twitter. And I've spent a lot of time thinking about how we could improve that. And for one, I think there's just the simple fact that a lot of my audience just doesn't use Twitter. The stats reflect that. Like, a lot of you guys just don't use Twitter. That's okay. Like, just because my fan base doesn't use Twitter doesn't mean something's wrong. It just means you guys don't use Twitter, because predominantly most of you, according to the YouTube stats, are between the ages of 18 and 35. You're young men, like 98% of you. And you apparently just don't use Twitter. So I can respect that and understand that. But there's other places where I think we could engage and interact, such as Discord or the Twitch live streams. I think we could do all of that certainly without any issue. And I want to commit to doing that much more. So I want to do much more on Twitch, many more live streams. I want to do a lot more community interaction. So after big uploads, like we're working on this big video on the Uncharted series that'll go up in mid-January. After that goes live, I'd like to have an after upload party or whatever that we have on Discord, where we can all hang out and voice chat and talk and hang out together. I think that could be super, super fun. I want to, of course, get more people over on Twitter and Instagram. I'm just really bad at social media like that, I'll be real. So it's kind of tough for me to... my Band-Aid fell off. Oops. It's really tough for me to do that stuff, just because I'm terrible at social media. Like, taking selfies, that's always been so weird to me. Like, oh, I need to work in my studio. Hold on. Like, I hate that. I can't stand it. It's so weird to me. It's just weird to me. But I understand I need to get better at that. And that's, while it might feel weird to me initially, it's pretty par for the course as far as the industry is concerned. And most people are on Instagram, most people are on Twitter, most people are on social media and do that, and it's okay. So I just need to get over myself and do it. So I'm going to be actively forcing myself to post a lot more on Instagram, on Twitter, and try to be more engaged in that way. So all of that to say, I want to increase engagement, and I think we're going to try a lot of different things to do that. One of the other pieces is I don't collaborate much with other creators, and it's not because I don't like other creators or have problems with every creator. Like, yeah, I poke fun at Yang Yeah or Jeff Keighley whenever I get the chance, because I think it's really funny and they're kind of huge targets. It's almost like a meme at this point to just go after the Dorito Pope or go after Yang, like Yang Shill or whatever you want to call him. But there's some phenomenal creators I would love to do like podcasts with, hop on their podcasts. I'd love to do video collaborations with. I'm working on trying to arrange a few debates with Modern Day Debates. James over there is fantastic. And if you've ever watched their stuff, they have tons of different debates on a lot of topics. And we're going to try to be one of the first ever gaming oriented debates that they do. So like, that would be me arguing that gaming does not encourage violence in, adolescence, which is something that we hear every time there's some tragedy. It's like, well, he played Grand Theft Auto, so case closed. I can't stand that stuff. And we're going to try to set up a debate against somebody who thinks that and argues that, where I can sort of defend the faith and go in there and be like, no, gaming is actually really beneficial for young kids. But that's one of the many things we're working on trying to arrange. But at its core, I just want to be more active. And this will be the first year that I'm doing all of this full time. And especially if Nikki's able to either go part-time on her job or just fully leave her job to focus on Lachlan, that'll give me a lot of time to do that, to be active, to be engaged, to hang out with you guys on Discord. Where, if I'm ever like brainstorming a video, I can just hop on the Discord in the chat and we hop on the voice chat and we can all talk. You can offer me some ideas or we brainstorm together. Or if you're shy, that's totally fine. You can just come into the Discord and listen to everybody else talk. Like, that's totally fine. I just want to do that. I want to engage much more. And I know we can do it because back when the channel was small and sort of manageable, we had a very active and very engaged fan base, and it was phenomenal. But it's really hard to maintain that when it gets bigger. It's odd. Like when the channel was small, like 50,000 subs and below, I had tons of letters coming into my PO box, which, yes, I have a PO box in the description box below. Tons of letters coming into the PO box. People would send me packages and like drawings they had made. I had a few guys send me music that they had written for like intros, theme songs that they created. I had like, the engagement was just off the charts. And looking back at it, I don't think it's that, I was any different. It's just that it was more manageable. Like those were the 50 people that were watching every one of my videos. And when my videos didn't get many views, they were the ones I could count on. So I was able to know all of them by their first names. I knew every single person. And now it's just at the point with the channel being so big, it's almost impossible to keep track of everybody. And it's frustrating because I want to know all of you. I want to share those stories. And many of you I do know. Many of you do come out to the Twitch streams. Many of you are on like Twitter and send me DMs and we chat back and forth all the time. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's much harder to keep up with everybody. And that's frustrating for me. And I think one of the reasons it's been so difficult is because like when I was working as a commercial real estate broker, I didn't have the time to sit down and like chat on Discord or sit down and reply to all my DMs. I just couldn't. Now I can. So I don't have an excuse. Not that I want one, but now I can manage that and I'm looking forward to it. So all of this to say, I just want to increase engagement. I want to hang out with you guys a lot more. I want to get to know you guys a lot more. And I want to continue building this community and giving back to you guys in a lot of ways. We have all of these great sponsors who are making my life financially stable. And if I can give back by like doing Discord giveaways of Elden Ring or God of War or other games that are coming out, I would be happy to do that. Because I was at the point where, when was that? It was back in probably 2017, 2018, most of 2018. I mean, I was so damn broke. I remember I had one college like a credit card I had gotten in college, where like they start you with a $300 limit, like very basic. They don't trust you at all because you're a college student, understandable. And slowly got that credit limit raised. And I think I had a limit of like $1,200 at the time. And I remember I was working at Best Buy and I was so broke just trying to scrape by that regularly, almost every month, I would have to take a cash advance off my credit card just to pay rent. And even then I might have been like a day or two late because I thought my paycheck would be bigger. And then I got my paycheck on the day rent was due and I look at it and it's like $200 less than I expected. And I'm like, well, I can't afford rent now. So I take out a cash advance on my credit card, which has like 35% interest or something insane. I pay that and then I work again and I pick up some extra shifts and we might get a bonus and then that goes to paying off the credit card with the 35% fee that they charged. And then the next month, same thing happens again. I got to take a cash advance off the credit card just to pay rent and to survive. It was tough. Like, I know what it's like to be scraping against the ground as you're trying to just stay afloat. Like, it's not a place you want to be. And when one of your only escapes is video games, which I can relate to, as that was really my only escape for myself, having like a $70 title come across, like you're really excited for the new God of War and you find out it's going to be $70, I can understand how that is extremely difficult. So if I can give back now that I'm more financially secure and comfortable, I want to do that. And that's what I plan to do. So we're going to be doing a lot of giveaways. We're going to be, I'm going to try to find some sponsors that would be willing to put like $1,000 or something up for just a bunch of copies of a few big games, and that's all we do. I think that could be really, really cool, and I think a lot of you guys would benefit from it as well. Like, just imagine if we could do a giveaway. Like, what even is that? So out of like, say we get $1,000 and we can distribute, I don't know what it's like in other countries, but like if we do a giveaway for 15 copies of Elden Ring or 15 copies of God of War Ragnarok, like that'd be amazing. That'd be so great. And that's very achievable now, as weird as that is to say. And it's not that I'm trying to buy off anybody. It's that I'm trying to give back because I know what it's like to not be in this position. And the only reason I'm in this position now is because of you. So I want to give back as best I can. So all of that to say, I know I keep saying that, but all of that to say, it's been a crazy year. And we're finishing this year in a situation I never thought we would be in, but that I'm very thankful that we're in. And I think this next year is going to be a big one. I think it's going to be pretty crazy. And you know, some of the sponsors we're working with are looking at sponsoring like a trip to E3 where we can bring Cammy out from the UK, where we can all fly out there and make videos. We're working on sponsors for the big critiques, which would lead to probably a termination of the Patreon. I'm not sure. I'd have to think about it some more, but you know, if we have sponsors that are willing to sponsor that stuff, I don't want to keep taking people's money when I don't need to. Like, it's always been kind of cringy for me, for YouTubers to be like, yeah, I'm so broke, please give me a bunch of money. And then they're doing sponsored segments on their videos even still. Like, it's just kind of odd to me, you know, like, you don't need the Patreon money, but it's just nice to have, so you keep taking it. Like, I don't know, it's weird. If you have thoughts on that, let me know. But if you've made it this far in the video, you are an absolute rock star. Like, I can't even believe it. You're amazing. This is like 30 minutes 21 seconds at this point. Like, wow, you're amazing. If you made it to the end of the video, why don't you leave a comment with hashtag red guy? Let's do that. This is my little red like stress ball thing. It's kind of like a fidget toy. I like it. But he's on the desk usually, and I'm kind of playing with him while recording videos. So if you made it this far, put hashtag red guy in the comment so I know that you are an actual rock star and got it to the end of the video. That'll be how I separate out like who watched the whole thing and who just watched 5 minutes and is like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, that's our little secret, the keyword, the word of the day, whatever we call it. But thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting Nikki and Locke indirectly. Thank you for being here all this time, whether you've been a fan or a viewer for a week or 3-4 years. Thank you. This year has been a crazy one. This next year is going to be even crazier. And I can't wait to share some more of what's coming down the pike with you in the very near future. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I love you all more than you could possibly know. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.